the football league. I like to watch porn, I can fap for days, and my favorite potato chips are Lay's because they're white. I take weird drugs like ecstasy, mushrooms, crystal meth, and LSD. We put it in a pipe for a homemade bong, and watch out for the priest, he will rape your son. And most of us would die trying out for fear factor. I guess that's why they say I'm just a country loving, deer hunting, rabbit eating, redneck, inbreeding, beer drinking, small penis. Did I mention we drive a tractor? We're red when we're mad, when we're sick we're green. Only race in the world that eats sardines. White girls, flat butts, and I know that's mean, but if you try to eat the booty, it tastes like saltines. Back far away from that anus. A white woman came to me to bash my song until she realized I was black, and then she zipped her purse. White people, I get bullied in school. I can't wait till I'm a cop so I can bully you. White people. Hey. White people, no, we can't dance, and I don't whoop my kids or spank their hands. White people. See, this is probably why white kids end up shooting up schools. Hey. Hold up a second. We can't have a white song without the country music in it. Yeehaw! So we all like country music. No. Never understand what we're saying. No. But if you ever come down to Texas, come chill with me on my porch. Cause we all got shotguns and we all commute by horse. I said we have arms, we like to mosh, we like Family Guy, we like Tosh. I guess my point here is, if you're white, we automatically like you. So white people, I get bullied in school. I can't wait till I'm a cop so I can bully you. White people. Hey. White people can't jump that high, so if you're trying to lose the cops, find a fence nearby. White people. Unless the cop is like, Larry Bird or something, then don't try. White people, since 76, being jerks making other races look like shit. White people. Seriously, like all of us are racist. White people, I know you can't stand me, but we all still evolved from a chimpanzee. White people. Hey. Alright, so this is probably also the most racist song I've written. But if you laugh, you're racist too. So I don't feel bad. Besides, it's not racist if I'm human. You get it? The human race? Ha 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 ha. That's how white people laugh.
This is Don Imus. You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead. You're going to like it, or I'll kick your ass.
Yeah, and this is the part of the program where I'm supposed to tell you something deep and meaningful based on one shooting in one church in America. And those of you that have been around the show for a while know that's not really my style, because what it is just another half of a chapter in a narrative. And I'll tell you something, I'm not a multitasker, but I've been training myself a little bit. First of all, true multitasking is impossible. What you're doing is you're juggling. You can't think about two things at once. You can think about several things in 10 seconds time by jumping very quickly back and forth. But there's this common belief out there, and I'm reading one of Colin's texts right now. And yes, I hear you, man. And I think it says a lot about you, the way you treat and love pets. I used to pick on one of my mom's dogs when I was in high school, and I picked on that dog because he hated me. He hated everybody. He was this mangy little Chihuahua, and he did, that's what he did all the time. And if anybody got close to my mom, if I was just going to give her a hug goodnight, But, I have loved animals, every other animal except for that animal. And the last time I shot a squirrel was at Matt's house. Colin knows who Matt is. and I cleaned them and put them in the freezer, and I didn't eat them. And that would have been about. And Matt asked me to shoot the squirrels. They were eating up his pecans and walnuts and stuff. He had trees out there, and I said, "Hey, I love squirrel. It's delicious." Shot the squirrel, cleaned him up, put him in the freezer. Didn't eat him. Never shot an animal after that, and that would have been roughly 1995-ish. So and since then I've lived with at least. Let me see, if we count Alaska, at least 15 different pets, and love them all like family. And I think it does say a lot about you, the way you treat a pet. Now, some may argue that by the way you treat a pet, you're really just personifying them, that the simple people love dogs because dogs show you unwavering loyalty and love. You can be a total screw-up, and a dog will still love you, whereas a kitty cat, you have to really earn their respect through your behavior over a period of time. And I'm not so sure they're that bright. I've seen conflicting reports on their intelligence. I know they're intelligent enough to survive. I don't like to compare them to dogs. I don't know. But my overall impression is that dogs are more like men and cats are more like women, if we have to personify. But we'll see. Colin says cats are douchebags. Now he's got 3 or 4 right now. I've got 4 here. We don't have any dogs. Meat Hook, yes, I hated that dog, Colin. I hated that dog. Yet my horse out in the field, and Colin will tell you, I had horses. I had a pet goose. I had rabbits. We had chickens out there. I lived on a real farm. These motherfucking urban cowboys putting on some goddamn Stetsons and an ostrich skin belt and a hat and saying, I'm a cowboy, baby. And they never set foot on a farm or stepped in a cow patty. That's some fake shit there. I don't mind as long as they wear a shirt that says I'm a fake cowboy. You do that shit, you got all my respect. But they don't do. They pretend they just came off the ranch. Lying motherfuckers. Half these people singing country music have no idea what they're singing about. None. Until you've chopped the head off a chicken and plucked the feathers, I'm not even getting into all that. That's depressing. I love animals, and I know that we have to eat them. I'm a meat eater, and I'm going to eat them. I conveniently do not want to know about the way that they're slaughtered. But let's put it this way. If there's some major disaster, I will be out there, tooth and nail, knife if I have to, gun if I've got one, killing animals to eat, you bet your ass. I sure will. If you read my last book, Addie's Boom in the Blast Frontier, the dude found a chicken, right? And he didn't have any tools to kill the chicken. And this particular guy didn't know that you could snap their neck by, twisting them around. So he had been a place kicker in high school football. So he backed up. The chicken was stuck, but its head was up above this vinyl siding it was stuck under. He backed up, took 3 steps, and kicked the chicken's head and broke its neck that way. And they went back and ate the chicken. If you're starving, you're going to eat what you can get. All this vegetarian shit, that's great. I understand you don't want animals to suffer. Let's see you in a position where you're starving. Show me somebody in Ethiopia who will turn down meat. Show me somebody that was in a Jewish prison camp who will turn down chicken. Show me somebody in a prison in Siberia who won't eat duck. Insist on just broccoli. You will eat what you need to eat to survive. That's what 99.9% of people will do. So anyway, racism in America. I have worldwide people that listen to this show. I've got UK people. I've got Australian people. I've got people from the Netherlands. I don't like to keep this focused on America, but America's the place I know. I've been to 47 of these great 50 states. Colin has been all around the world. Colin, maybe you can help me decide. Let's look at racism in America. All right, think of your grand snapshot. I'm talking about your macro view here. Would you please, for us in the chat room, compare that view, that macro world view of how race relations happen around the world, all the places you've been, compare that to just American racism. Are we that much different than the way races treat each other around the world? And if so, what is the cause of that? That's what I'd like to hear your view on. we've got to do something to fix this, or there's going to be a race war in America, and it won't be a whole lot different than the Civil War was back in the 1800s. It won't be a whole lot different. Better weapons, sure. Not as clear-cut battle lines, that's true. A lot of subversive spy work going on. There's going to be plenty of that. There's racism everywhere. Don't forget the Black Irish. Good point. Yeah, well, now I'm thinking about the blind Klansman, Dave Chappelle. Here's the problem for blacks right now. If this race war breaks out now, you've got about 14% of Americans that are black. Now, you'll probably have other minorities join you. So say you can get up to 17%. All right? And now say you could get some whites fighting for you because they also see that this is unfair and they've been willing to put their own color aside to do what's right. Maybe you get up to 23%, 25%. But now you're fighting 75% of the white people and any types of police forces and military National Guard forces that we can summons up, and don't underestimate our ability to call in foreign aid at any time to do police actions, okay? And who are they going to shoot? They're going to shoot whoever's shooting. So the more aggressive side is going to be the one that gets put down like an animal. So if there's a race war in this country and the blacks started and they want to be successful, it's going to have to be very subversive. And what will happen? It'll be just like the Japanese after Pearl Harbor. All the blacks would be rounded up and put in concentration camps, and they would make it nicer than it was back in the 40s, wouldn't they? They would. They would have, it would be like the projects, but with nice beds and food provided and everything. See, we're not racist. We're taking care, but we don't know if they're going to kill us, so we got to put them in these cages essentially just so we can keep an eye on them. And once this passes, we'll let them all out and be free Americans again. That's what they did to the Japanese. This is a young country, folk. We're like adolescents as a country. We're fucking dorky teenagers. We don't know how to act. We're goofy. We're just growing into our body. It doesn't make sense to us. We should take some lessons from around the world and learn from them, but we don't. Just like your typical teenager that has the grandpa talking to him. They're fucking teaching you what's going to happen, and you're saying, Grandpa, you're outdated, Grandpa. You don't know. It's different now, Grandpa. No, it isn't. No, it fucking isn't. The only thing that has changed is the music and the clothes. Human nature has been the same for a very long time. Let's see what Colin has to say about this. Speaking of the Civil War, we also had concentration POW camps here too, Andersonville. Okay, out in Texas. All right. I hope I've said any... Oh, and there was a Confederate POW camp. If I remember correctly, and I'm not a huge Civil War buff, but there were slaves that not only worked for the Confederates that were... All right, so you had POWs on both sides. And in order to protect their own troops, they would have the enemies marching next to them as POWs, if I remember right. And that was a pretty smart move. And I believe that's still used in guerrilla tactics today. Definitely used in places like ISIS, where they will keep hostages in buildings that they consider important, so that if you do destroy the building, they can show video proof. Look, you blew up an American, or you blew up some babies here. Yeah, pretty evil shit. But when you want to win, what limits do you find? When you've decided to vacate human dignity in order to win at a cause, what's the limit? There is no limit. There is no limit. There's no limit in a street fight. You're going to do what you have to do to survive. And as people get more and more desperate, you're going to see more and more desperate acts. And this fake fucking thing that we expect to see British redcoats always lined up, marching, always wearing bright uniforms, and always in formation. This is gone. This is a war of the past. New warfare is around every corner. It's under every sewer grate. It's in the drones in the sky, and these tiny drones that are going to come in. They may have small pellets of poison to drop in your coffee. It's getting very creative. It's becoming less and less human in its application. And the less human it becomes in its application as we begin to use both small and large drones, then the less humanity will be involved. It is easy to kill from afar, especially when you can't see the death happen.